Hi. Hi, it's Bloody Mary. Welcome to the Bloody Mary Show. I just want you to know that I decided to put out a few of my classes that I did during COVID, which are very organic, about the Loas, about voodoo, about swamp magic. And this particular one is about Legba. Papa Legba is definitely different. And most people portray him, especially since it's American Horror Story, and people don't know the difference between him and Baron Samedi. But also because Papa Legba was very exalted. He wasn't the trickster that most people seem to play him to be either. Papa Legba was the divine ancestor, the opener of ways. He will unblock your path or maybe block it if you're not doing the right thing. And he doesn't eat children. And he doesn't kill white people, especially little girls who use his name in vain. All of this internet nonsense that people are spreading around and that other people for their own agenda are agreeing with, because you see what happens when you dabble where you're not supposed to be. Well, multicultural exchange is very important for all of us in order to get along, and I will stand by that no matter what the issues of the day seem to be. So I'm going to give you some of my classes that I had held here and there on my YouTube channel as I investigate and delve into more spirit matters for you. So please listen on, subscribe, tell your friends, share, and all that jazz. See you later. A little word to the wise. Do find yourself a mentor, an elder who is a teacher who is initiated. There is no substitute.
But this is Bloody Mary, Voodoo Queen in New Orleans, 5:30 New Orleans Voodoo class. Really focusing on the Marie Laveau magic, New Orleans, swamp magic, and more. And I'm going to tell you a little historic something before we start, because it'll make sense to what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the gates. Usually whatever I do, whether it's working, whether it's reading, whether it's a tour even, a ghost hunt, I always address the spirit world. In voodoo, there is really no separation between the sacred and the mundane. However, if you want to put it in a structure of respect, you connect it with the spirits that are around. Most of you who took the intro class or even read anything about voodoo know about the gatekeeper, the guardian to the crossroads, the opener of the ways, Papa Legba or Legba. If you don't know about it from your studies, you know about it from Hollywood. We'll open the gates with Papa Legba or Legba, the guardian of the ways. In New Orleans voodoo, he's equated with St. Peter, open the gates, so the gates of the crossroads of the other side. He's the divine messenger between this side and the next. And if you want the workings that you're doing to get heard, to get some providence, to get through, you go through him first. He has a veve, but for the beginners, it is also fine to use a simple X, for an X is a crossroads. So you would start with that. Being that the country is in the situation that it is today, literally today, I do want us to throw some prayer out into the world and back for our own cleansings as well. And I have acquired, and I work with earth a lot, especially in an area like this, which is mud, swamp. You know, I got some sacred earth from Congo Square. Congo Square is directly across the street from where I am. I'm at a haunted museum here by my Marie Laveau altar here. I've got all my stuff all around me. The Congo Square was the only meeting place for the slaves in all of North America, where they were allowed to gather on their day off of Sunday and do open voodoo rituals, dances, and music. It's an extremely sacred site, and still used for rituals today, under the oldest oak that is there, where people have gathered for 300 years. I've got some of the earth from that tree. There was a lot of firsts in New Orleans about people of color and differences in slavery. Slavery is always oppression, but it was a little different here. And one of the ways was Congo Square. Another way was, you know, our lovely lady Marie Laveau behind us, who was devout Catholic as well as Voodoo Queen, and the openness of voodoo in this area, which let it grow side by side with the colony and become infused with our culture and our customs. So it's very important that we acknowledge the spirits at Congo Square. Even before colonialization, that's where the Native American Indians met to do their corn harvest rituals. And it's still used by some of us in the know still today. So I've got some earth from there. I'm going to put my candle in that earth, okay? And we're going to open the gates, and I just have a little extra that I'm doing today because that I'm losing the earth where it's going down. It's falling in the basket. Okay, so I've got the earth. Let me put that in my hands. So I'm going to put it up and around into the four corners. So up, down, left, right. Make the sign of the cross. With my hand, I have the earth in my hand. Open the way, Papa, and I make an X in the sky, and I'm going to blow into it with the breath of life. Open the gates, Papa. Open the way. Open the gates. I am putting that earth on a plate. I am putting a candlestick on top of the earth in a candle holder, and I am going to anoint the candle before we open the way. Now, people anoint candles a variety of ways. I prefer extra virgin olive oil. It's a pure oil. It's been used for a lot. You have a favorite oil, you can use that. If you're doing a specific working on love or healing or money, you could use specific oils that you make for those types of things with the herbs that you do. But I personally like a lot of extra virgin olive oil. So I have put oil on the candle. And the way that I have been taught was that you anoint 3 times down, 1, 2, 3, and then from the bottom up, 1, 2, 3. Not up and down and all sloppy, but specific ways. So this is a plain white candle. I chose that for the purity of it today, for what we need, as opposed to trying to heat things up with a red candle or anything fiery, right? So I could have also taken more of a light pale blue, but I chose white. I'm going to put Papa Legba's veve on there, but I'm also going to write the words peace, and I'm going to make a simple crisscross and a cross, because I can't get that detailed of a veve on a small candle. If I would use bigger candles, which I do sometimes, I could carve names and words and sigils and veves inside the top of the candle. I could also put some holes in it so the oils I put in will drip down into the candle. Right now I'm just doing a simple anointing. Now, if you want to be of your energies in there, your spit, 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, 3. Spit's probably taboo to be working with these days when you're working with the client, but normally we'd be putting a mouthful of rum with our spit and our energies and our DNA and spraying that all over. I'm trying to be politically correct today. Not politically correct, but health-wise correct for you. I'm also going to put a little Florida water on it, for that's what we use to purify a lot. So I put that all on the candle, and I'm holding it. Glass candles, sometimes you would take one arm this way and the other hand that way to cover it as you're infusing it, not only with the prayer, but with the visualization of what you're trying to attend, and carving your initials inside. Now, sometimes we use a starter candle. So this starter candle I'm going to just put in the back by Marie Laveau's altar. And the candle that we just anointed, I am going to light off of the starter candle. Okay? So, Papa Legba, open the way. Legba, Legba. Up, down, left, right. Open the way, oh spirits. Yolali Mamzel Marie. Open the way, Mama. Yolali La Grandsambi. Yolali Mamzel Marie. Papa Legba, open the gates. Open the gates, Papa, guardian of the crossroads. We open the way. We ask the divine messenger to hear our pleas today, to open the gates, to let the spirits through, to help us connect with all those out there too. So justice, equality, transformation can occur. Now I am dripping some of the, wax down to make sure that it stays in here as I stick this in. And I ask for the fire to light the way, to set the lights today so the spirits can follow the light, to find us tonight, to open the way. Here I am, Bloody Mary, Marie Laveau, Laco Crow, Mary Milan, Regina Asset. Names have been known in the past, the names I'm knowing the now. I call you forth. I call my spirit guides. I call my matets, my Loas, the guardian angels, the saints. I call upon friends and family on the other side. I ask for them to be at my side. For those that can hear, those that are near, we ask you to come through the spirits of place that built this town, the architects that are all around. All of those who can rise now and fight with us so that we may become one. And everything that we need to be, we ask for your assistance. So mote it be, come in the way, open the way, open the way. Spirit, Legba, open the way. Clear the path of all the problems so that we may be free. Open the way, Ashe, so mote it be. So they can listen to us and he can teach with us and allow. So I want all of you to please just state your name. You don't even have to, you can turn on your microphone if you want. You can just simply say it where you are out loud, for we will connect from wherever you are. But state your names, magical and otherwise. If it's secret, keep it. We don't have to hear it. But we do have to try to connect. I want you to put your feet firmly planted on the ground. And your feet, think of them as sprouting roots and growing deep into the earth. Bringing up the energies from Mother Earth all the way through. And let it come up through your crown chakra all the way to the heavens above. So we're connected in one straight line. And left and right, east and west. Think of our arms stretching way out and reaching to connect each other astrally all the way around, and we are connected that way. And we're going to take a deep, deep breath in, not just through our nose and our mouth, but through every pore in our body. And not just from this room, but from the fingertips to spread around the world and from up and down into the heavens and into the earth. One deep breath. Hold it in, relax, and slowly breathe it out. We connect with each other so that we can be one group mind, one thought, one person. Open the way. May the light guide the spirits that need to be at our side and everything else that we need be. Open the way. So if many of you may or may not have a guardian angel, hello, new person. You may have a guardian angel, a matet, which is kind of like a head spirit, which is like a guardian angel, right? The Loas are many in Voodoo, and you should get to know them one by one, starting with Papa Legba and going on from there. There are many families, if you will, in Voodoo, and different ones are in charge of different aspects, but the one that ends up choosing you will help you with everything in life. But if you are a conjure person like some of you, or someone who's working with stones and the saints have their equivalents in the Loas. It's not that they're the same archetype. They might be an archetype, but they're not the same person, but they are in charge of the same areas, let's say. So it was seen early on by many of the slaves that were brought to the New World, especially to the Catholic areas of the New World, that this saint was in charge of such and such, so it must be similar to our Loa. And it gave a physical embodiment to their spirits, or voodoos or orishas. And they made this lovely exchange and were able to kind of, not necessarily worship, but connect with both of them at the same time. So that was that worked very well. Of course, to see the power of the Catholic Church and those in charge of these areas must have meant that there was something to say about these spirits or saints. So they would work with them. Then you work with what worked. You needed things to work for you. The prayer with the saints, the herbs that you had learned, the oils, different things were more important in different areas, right? What was it? Joseph Campbell said, you know, the God of the desert isn't the same as the God, you know, of the swamps. You're calling on different things, different types of prayers to get what you need someplace. Too much water, someplace need water, just for an example. But you would call on the right spirits for your workings. So let's say some of you might need money. I'm just kind of guessing. So a lot of people want money or abundance or prosperity. You might make very specific candles for that, and you may or may not ask for an angel or a Loa or a saint to help you. One thing you must realize is they do not understand inflation. Sometimes you must think in overabundance so the message gets through. You think with words, with prayer, with writing, with sigils or veves, and with visualizations. You want money? Envision yourself in a bathtub of gold with cash falling on your head and coins falling over. And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Show the abundance so you get part of the abundance, right? And don't be afraid to tithe and to give. You don't have much money, you give a little bit of what you have to someone who has less than you. Give back and pay back. Always do that sacrifice, whether it's of your time, of your money, of your food, of your prayer. Give something out there, and that elevates it to a spiritual plane instead of just being for you to get money or for you and your client to get certain things done. Give something back to the community or give something to the poor. And Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen, who I'm a priestess in the tradition of New Orleans voodoo that was prominent in her heyday of the 19th century, she would make someone give up something for 9 days, sometimes 18, sometimes 27, in derivatives of 9. And many times she said she was working a novena. So her ritual work, her candle work, which would have had saints involved as well, most of the time, would have been like a novena in Catholic religion, and novena means 9. A 9-day ritual that people in Catholicism do, that you're lighting a candle, you're focusing, you're praying, you're directing that energy through the flame and back through the flame to you. You're using the light. Yeah, you might use a bonfire too, but that's a little harder these days. But, you know, we try to use the candles. The more fire, the more flame, the more the speed of light and the fire of the light can bring things in. So I have this candle. It's burning down below here. You can't see it, but it's there. And there's one back there. And there's a crystal ball in front of me. And there's a crystal chandelier on top of me. And I definitely use all of those things. I also have an alligator foot over here and a few other things at my side, alligator on my necklace. And, you know, I have many different pieces. So animal, vegetable, and mineral matter together create things, all right? So I have all that standing all around me. So if I was doing a spell, again, we'll take money because everybody seems to. I've made these special pour candles, and I make it with beeswax, local beeswax, and I have citrine poured in there with it, as well as literal, you know, shredded money. There's cash in there. There's citrine in there. There's my special money oil in there. There's the beeswax that I melded all in. I do it at, you know, the certain times of the moon and things that are appropriate for increase. So, you know, as the moon is increasing. And therefore, when I make these, I can make a bunch of them in that same spell under the tutelage of the different spirits that I work with. So I'm spreading that all within everything that I make. So if I need money, you know, if I made these, let's say I made these on March 15th. And I made like 10 of them just to have of them. And all of a sudden, by April 15th, the whole country shut down for a month. And all of a sudden, damn it, I need money, right? Well, fortunately, I made this at a time before that. This is just an example. I don't know. You know, so that energy that I made him with is still there. And it will help me continue to try to make the money that I need now, even though I wasn't in as much of a need when I did it. Same thing when you anoint your candles. If you're a person that does work for other people, for love, for money, for different ritual things, when you're anointing a candle for one thing, anoint 20 of them. You know, put them in there and put them in a baggie that says love, so that when you are doing something that you want to do quick, you've already done setup work. It's not going to diffuse the magic by doing it into many candles at the same time, all right? But it does save you time in the future. Now, I have a system that I was told that each oil or each herb has spirits within it. And it's the spirits in the herbs that bring out that aspect of the herb to help you. So when I'm putting, let's say, chamomile for gambling or for money and increase out there and lighting a candle to match it, I want to get all that energy in a whole grouping of them at the same time. I say chamomile, name a spirit, put it on the side. Sometimes then I might need 3, 4, 5 candles for working because I'm mixing a lot of different herbs. So I already have all the candles separately. And depending on the importance of each herb or oil or whatever it is that I'm using, I might want to marry one to something else more so than the others. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm doing a love ritual, it's obvious that I'm going to use rose, right? You know, because rose is the overt one that everyone uses for love. But if it's for, you know, love that's having a little trouble, you know, I might want to put that rose with rosemary. So I have a rose candle and a rosemary candle to stop negative vibrations and to seal relationship cracks. So I'm trying to fix a relationship as opposed to using rose with something that I'm trying to pull love, or when I'm trying to pull sex into it. If I just want passion, you know, I'll obviously be using more of a different herb than when I'm trying to do a relationship healing. One might require, for passion, require the use of a red candle for more passion, where it might only be white for the rosemary to heal things. So you're going to put the most important aspects that you're calling on, that you're mixing together, and you do them first. And when you just need a little bit of extra this, a little bit extra that, you put them third and fourth. So what you're doing is you're marrying the rosemary to the rose. Now, when that's married, it becomes like another spirit, and that is creating the relationship healing. Then you might want to add a little something in there for passion to get that spark back, but not as much as you did on the first 2. If it was the other way around, you only want the passion. You're not fighting. You're not sealing up a crack. You know, then you just use your cinnamon. You use your rose. You know, if you could want to add some civet in there to make it really hot and horny, you can. So, you know, but you put them in the, use them and light the candles to match in the order of the importance of that aspect to what you're trying to do. You never use more than 50% of an herb with one thing in any kind of working. You know, so you might put a pinch of this and a dash of that. But remember, in the order of importance. A lot of times we're creating a bed for a spirit to live in. You know, sometimes we're making an oil, so we're mixing it in that way. Other times we're making a whole bunch of herbs together, blending them together, grinding them down into a powder. I use the same principle. The most important one first. Usually, I will add because I live in the, you know, the swamp area. Darn it! I'm trying to play with the moss here, and it's fighting me. I use moss as a bed because moss is like a nest, right? So if I have a bed of moss, I'll make my own little nest, and I'll start building the stuff that I'm doing in my little nest. I will blow into my nest with a visualization, and stating out into the universe what I am trying to manifest. And then I start putting them all together, and then eventually I take the whole thing and I put it down in my mortar and pestle, grind them together, and then I could close it all up in there to like let it cook on my altar. I have dozens of altars. So I could literally go take each working I do and put it on the correct appropriate altar. The love altar, the protection altar, the this altar. Not everyone has that, and you don't need to have that. What you could do is make a different altar each time for each working you're doing. It could be on a piece of cloth on the ground, on your table. You would just put a clean cloth each time on your table. You would just put a clean cloth each time. You might have something to draw with, like the egg chalk, which we use a lot of. It's also for cleansing. You might make an X or a veve out of the actual chalk. So if I was making more of a veve, so you can make out of cornmeal, out of brick dust, out of gopher dust, which is graveyard dirt. You can make it out of flour, coffee grounds, gunpowder. Obviously, the gunpowder is for the more fiery, things that you're doing, and that's what's called the petroloa. Flour and cornmeal are the more common ones. Coffee grounds for different ones. But I can make a chalk if I've got an area that I can draw on, and I think I aimed this earlier just so that you could see. You know, I can make a simple crisscross and across. I can make the parts that are a little more dramatic to the veve. And I am and there I am, knocking on that and putting that up there. So I've got a little bit of the veve already made. Somehow I open the gates here, and I'm going to use some water. Water is an important conduit. To have a glass, a jar, or a bowl of water out is very important. Pour 3 drops to open with Legba. Water is life. Spirits come through the water. Make sure to add waters to that. We usually have candle, we have fire. We would, of course, have cigar smoke we use a lot of as well, because that would be the air element. You can use incense as well, but we use a lot of cigars in things, and we use a lot of rum. That's just what we do. But these are both offerings as well as ways to be social with the other side. You're inviting the spirit in to partake in what you're doing as a social gesture, not just to work for you and to be bossed around by you. This is a, welcome to my table, right? Be a part of what we're doing. You cared about the world when you live in it. I care about your world. You care about my world. Invite them in. So I have a little teacup here that I have some things in for. And sometimes I have the rum. I definitely have the perfume, but I have the offerings out. But just remember that I think that the lesson there is to remember is to always think about what's more important in the working that you're doing. Call on that, use that herb or oil first. Call on that spirit to be in attendance with the appropriate lighted candle. You may have to wait 10 to 20 minutes for each element that you're calling to be there. And when it's there, then you call the second one. Then you marry those 2 together and you wait for that. That's a third one that's coming, right? It's number 1, number 2, but the new one is a third one. I'm not talking about a different herb. I'm talking about the marriage of the first 2. Begat something else. In life, that procreation might be a child. In the spirit world, it is a child as well, but in a different way. You're marrying those 2 things together and creating this new one, and then you're ready for the next and the next and next. Be patient. This is some old school stuff, and it depends on what you're doing, but if you're making a larger batch at one point, it's worth it to take the time to have candles for each one, to give each one the respect that it deserves. Does that make sense? So you use the veve to open it up, you put an offering out, you sit down and you really meditate on the working that you're going to do, which in my opinion is individualized for every different client that you work with and even every situation that you personally face in your life. There's some quick, easy things you can always have around. It's always good to have a good cleansing oil, a purified oil. It's good to have a little love potion for a pinch. And it's good to have money oil to remember just to rub in your hands and in your pockets and in your purse, on your money, actually on your darn money, so that, you're giving it out, you're getting it back, actually anoint where it's coming in and where it's going out so that it increases. And so that when you give it to other people, it increases for them too. So those are some of the things that we need. Other things that we need would be grounding in the moment that we are. Now, I also think that out there, in my opinion, there's way too many people, not to pick on you, but I'm going to pick on you, Levi, people that are into conjure, where they're getting the information from and what they're learning from seems to be a lot of people that think it's just cute and cool to learn to lay tricks, right? Let me see how I can fuck somebody else up to get what they got. Well, I don't believe in that. I think you should get it from the source, what's yours and meant for you, instead of trying to knock somebody else down to do it. Hell yeah, you're going to find a lot of old spells written about things like that. So much so that I've had people that have come to me not even realizing that there was any other way. Go to the source, connect with, there's a lot of gifts out there that are really waiting just for you, you know, for you to find your full potential in what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're too busy learning 1,000 little spells to jump, to trip somebody up along the way, then you're not spending enough time getting to the source of what you need for yourself. So I work on attraction, pulling things in, connection and protection from those jealous sorts out there that are trying to trip you up, rather than, even, not that I would want it, but I mean, a lot of people don't believe in karma. You keep doing that to other people, it's definitely going to affect you. You know, everything you do out there magically or mystically can affect you. Even good things come back and bite you on the ass. You've heard that, no good deed goes unpunished. It's true. There is something you're putting out in the world, and there is a fee for it. Remember to make room for it. Remember to give up something, make space for it, and give it, sacrifice something first so that there's room for the stuff you're trying to pull in. Because you can trip yourself up without even having somebody else do it. Be careful. But remember to thank the spirits, to thank the community, to thank those who built the area that you're in before, and to connect with your ancestors. They're your team. They're the team behind you. The more you have them behind you, the bigger, the stronger you are. And there's that team that's not yet born yet. Do remember the spirits of the unborn that will be in your family, whether it's your brother's children, your own children, your children's 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 children. They're out there and they pull us forward. So you're in this middle of this big circle, but you're here on the physical plane. So you have a very important role to help heal the sins of the father, so to speak, from the past in the ancestors, and to make a better place for those not yet born. And this may be, I certainly hope that what's going on right now is the growing pains of that what's going on with this virus, keeping us at home, what's going on with this unrest and unjust in the world will have a reason to make an effect change for the better in the future for those not yet born. You can be damn sure the ancestors will help you with that. If they don't help you with the millions of dollars that you want to win the darn, lottery with, they'll probably help you with this. Start, doing more things like this. People aren't going to be traveling as much as they used to. So I am going to make time and make an agenda and make this work. In the meantime, blessings to all of you. I hope your area stays peaceful and that change is effected and that you are happy and connected. Bye, guys. Thank you. Peace out. Bye. May the spirits visit you in dreams. Hey, Dave. End of meeting. It's not necessarily